Welcome back to Area DMG. I'm your host, Philip the Mile High Mouth, and today what we're gonna go ahead and do here is we're gonna talk about these. See these things right here? All that. We're gonna talk about that. We're going to talk about the Criterion Collection sale. It's November, so a bunch of people do videos where they recommend stuff from the Criterion Collection because November and I think it's July are the 2 months where there is a 50% off Criterion sale at Barnes & Noble, and it's the only really good time, unless you have a Barnes & Noble membership, to pick up Criterion stuff because it's 50% off. Generally, it might be 30 or 40, and then you have an extra 10% off of that with like a Barnes & Noble thing. It's not the cheapest of hobbies. Anyways, we're going to talk about Janus Contemporaries and Criterion Collection stuff proper. I'm going to go through here and list off and show everything I have. Everything. All of it. And then I'm going to give recommendations. I'm going to go through this, show you what we have, and then where I'm going to recommend 10 or so films that you should probably pick up during the Criterion Collection, especially if you're a cinema fan. And that's why this is something from Sharp Cinema. I would eventually like to start doing reviews of these. If you'd like me to go ahead and do reviews, hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button. Ring that little bell so you're notified whenever we have brand new videos here on Area DMG. But also, let me know, okay? Because it's something where I would prefer to be able to do. I would like to do reviews. I would like to do some movie reviews and go into depth on several of these films. But yeah, let's start from the beginning over here. We got let's see, Seven Samurai, which is available on Blu-ray or 4K. This is the 4K one. Seven Samurai, The Lady Vanishes, The 400 Blows, Beauty and the Beast, A Night to Remember, Walkabout, The Seventh Seal, Solo. Yeah, I'm not showing you the cover. Picnic at Hanging Rock, Time Bandits, Branded to Kill, the Criterion version of Armageddon, which is the only way to get the director's cut of it, which is a bit longer. It's 153 minutes. Yeah. And it's also not rated, and it's also the only way to get that version because it's and this never got a proper. I wish they'd update it. I would love to see a good 4K of Armageddon. I don't know what's happening with that one. I'd like it to get I'd like to be able to replace this with the Blu-ray at some point. Anyways, The Lord of the Flies, The Red Shoes, amazing. Brazil, a Terry Gilliam film. For All Mankind, documentaries. Peeping Tom, pretty good slasher film. The Night Porter. Autumn Sonata by Ingmar Bergman. The Passion of Joan of Arc. Rushmore by Wes Anderson. The Last Temptation of Christ by Martin Scorsese. Good Morning by Yoshizuro Ozu. Kwaidan by Masasaki Kobayashi. The Blob by Irvin S. Yeworth Jr. I have this one. I also have the remake they did. Fantastic. Do the Right Thing. I know this is a 4K or something. This is Blu-ray. There's a 4K of it. I don't care. I do care about those, but sometimes the 4K that other companies put out isn't better than the Criterion Blu-ray release. Anyways, La Aventura, Rafifi, The Vanishing, the good one, Haxon, Rebecca, 8.5, The Cranes Are Flying, In the Mood for Love. This is the 4K. Now, I do have the Wong Kar-wai collection. That was something they put out. It had some issues with the Blu-rays. Then they put out they sent me replacement Blu-rays for that, which was nice. They fixed it. It was having trouble. I've discovered that sometimes Blu-rays have issues in in some players, but not in others. Like I've had some 4Ks that play miserably inside the PS5, but will play fine on the Series X or on other Blu-ray players or 4K players. Kind of weird, but yeah, I have the Wong Kar-wai collection. It's out in the living room, but I did get the specific one for In the Mood for Love because the 4K for it is brilliant. Anyways, The Royal Tenenbaums. That's another Wes Anderson. Ratcatcher. It's a film by Lynn Ramsey. Solaris by Andrei Tarkovsky. The Complete Monterey Pop Festival. The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. This is a 4K. It's a Terry Gilliam film. Some of these, I want to mention something because sometimes I will run into Criterion stuff at like Goodwill, which is funny, or at Second and Charles where they don't know what they have often, and it'll be a really good price, and you're like, yes. That's what happened with like The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp, and it turns out that's a pretty good movie. I would recommend any of these movies, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull out, like at the end of this, I'm gonna pull out some specifically that you should make a list on. So make sure you got a pad and paper ready, Hiroshima Mon Amour. All That Money Can Buy, also known as the Devil and Daniel Webster. The Rules of the Game. Tokyo Story. Le Cercle Rouge. Naked Lunch. Now I know there's a new film out by that's based off another book by this author. This person's films are they're not easy to adapt. Naked Lunch, and then this upcoming one called Queer that has I think Daniel Craig in it. Are actually like the only two adaptations of that what's that guy's name? William S. Burroughs. Yeah. Only two adaptations of his work to film, and they're quite interesting. Ikaru. Fantastic. Onibaba. Videodrome. I pretty much own everything that David Cronenberg has put out. Fat Girl, L'Eclisse, The Life Aquatic, Le Samurai. Oh, this is the 4K one. I almost forgot I had that. Anyways, Young Mr. Lincoln by John Ford. The Virgin Spring, another Ingmar Bergman one. Le Revoir les Enfants. Dazed and Confused, the 4K one. Moshe, Bicycle Thieves. The Naked City. There are 8 million stories in The Naked City. Okay, we got La Haine. This is the 4K one. La Jetée and Saint Soleil. La Jetée is a strange film. If you've seen 12 Monkeys, you've seen a reinterpretation of La Jetée. Weird. Woman in the Dunes. Oh my gosh. If this ever got a 4K, that'd be fantastic. It's an amazing horror film. Robinson Crusoe on Mars. It's like a cautionary story to Elon Musk. Breathless by Jean-Luc Godard. This is, of course, the 4K one. Days of Heaven. Also the 4K one. Love Terrence Malick and stuff. His stuff is pretty pretentious and great. Like, I don't own a copy of Tree of Life, but I would recommend it. Yeah, I might, Pet Vampire by Carl. This thing is kind of like huge special edition stuff on there. Bottle Rocket. The Exterminating Angel. In the Realm of the Senses. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Yeah, that is a Criterion release. It's an early Criterion release. My Dinner with Andre. Monsoon Wedding by Mira Nair. Now, this one here in particular, oh man, I think this one has, like, the documentaries that are in this were amazing. Anywho, yeah, because some of these have like a lot of short films. Wim Wenders' Wings of Desire. That is, of course, the 4K. Hunger. This is one of those. It's a film by Steve McQueen. I picked that up for $3.98 at a Second and Charles. I was like, oh, Criterion for less than $4? Oh, good film though too. Stagecoach by John Ford. Every pretentious college person wants you to watch this. Hey, you should though. It's good. By Brackage, an anthology, volumes 1 and 2. Oh, yes, this is kind of amazing. It's got Mothlight. It's got a whole bunch of short films. Woo! Okay, The Thin Red Line by Terrence Malick. This is the Blu-ray edition. I don't think there's a 4K for that. House. This is the Blu-ray edition. I don't think there's 4K for this. Yeah, I would love a 4K for this. The Darjeeling Unlimited. Wes Anderson is fantastic. The Night of the Hunter. Now, this is a fantastic thing. There's also a 4K of it. I actually own both of those because it's a film that's so good I own it twice. Because the special features on both of those editions are so much different. Antichrist by Lars von Trier. Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times. Charlie Chaplin has some amazing stuff. The Last Picture Show by Peter Bogdanovich. Kronos by Guillermo del Toro. I think there's a 4K of that. I do not care. Many of the 4Ks from that are not from Criterion are DNR'd, or rather digital noise reducted to heck and back. Broadcast News. This is a James Brooks film with William Hurt, Albert Brooks, and Holly Hunter, and it is fantastic. I would watch an entire season of a TV series that would just adapted this. Fish Tank by Andrea Arnold. Blowout with John Travolta and Nancy Allen, and it's a Brian De Palma film. It's fantastic. Something Wild, the Jonathan Demme picture. It's also got Jeff Goldblum in it, I think, right? Yeah, Jeff Goldblum. Oh, Jeff Daniels. Ray Liotta. Yeah, it's been a while. Some of these, have been a while since I've seen them. Anyways, The Great Dictator by Charlie Chaplin. Zazie dans le Metro by Louis Malle. Secret Sunshine by Lee Chang-dong. The Complete Jean Vigo. I recommend, I love it when they have stuff where it's the whole thing. It's the person's whole discography, or filmography, I mean. Fantastic. Kuroniko by Kaneda Shindo. Great little blue, red, and white. Blue, white, and red. These are Kieslowski films. They are available singularly. If you can't get the box set for it, I would suggest starting with blue to see if you like it. And then, because they also go through they have to do a little bit with depression. But yeah, they're really good. That's a good set. 12 Angry Men. I think there's a 4K of this. I don't care. I prefer the Blu-ray that that Criterion put out. Belle de Jour. Godzilla. This is the 4K for it. This is the best way to see that, I think. Tiny Furniture by Lena Dunham. World on a Wire by Rainer Werner Fassbinder. Letter Never Sent. Harold and Maude. Oh, I got this at a this was another lucky thrift store find. Holy goodness. Yeah. Directed by Hal Ashby. This is great. Songs by Cat Stevens. Fantastic movie. Being John Malkovich by Spike Jonze. Eating Raoul by Paul Bartel. The Game. This one is, let's see if I remember correctly, it's David Fincher. That reminds me, if Criterion were to be we have Panic Room in 4K, I'd be that'd be the best thing, because Panic Room is amazing. Anyways, The Following by Christopher Nolan. The Qatsi trilogy. That is Kianatsquatsi, Poyatsquatsi, and Nayoa Quatsi. It is interesting is the best way to put that. Very experimental. They're long music videos. Safety Last with Harold Lloyd. Harold Lloyd, Charlie Chaplin, and who's the other guy? Oh man, I'm forgetting the person's name, but there's three people who are the essential people from those films Buster Keaton. So there's Buster Keaton, Harold Lloyd, and Charlie Chaplin. If you want to know comedy from the silent film era, those three. Fantastic. Safety Last is one of the best ones from Harold Lloyd. Babette's Feast. Babette's Feast is a perfect Thanksgiving movie. It is a wholesome and good film. Like everything about this is great. Unless you don't like seeing food being prepared, and if that bothers you, oh no. Oh well. The Devil's Backbone, a Guillermo del Toro film. I don't think this is a 4K or anything like that. And if it did, I don't know if I would ever trade that in for like this. But yeah, one thing I find kind of amusing about this is that it is spine number 666. Le Cage et Folles. If you saw The Birdcage with like Robin Williams and Nathan Lane, this is the film that's a remake of. And it's funny. I Married a Witch by René Clair. Yep. It's a comedy, fantastic. Some stuff like let's see, Bewitched is kind of a little bit referencing that. La Notte by City Lights. This is another fantastic Charlie Chaplin film. I feel like, well, The Dictator is a good talkie. City Lights is one of his. I feel like it's one of his best. I know some people like The Kid or whatever or stuff, but I feel like City Lights is probably his best film. Dictator's good, but that's a talkie. Anyways, Frances Ha by Noah Baumbach. And if you're a Greta Gerwig fan, yeah, Greta Gerwig. Check out Frances Ha. Investigation of a Citizen Above Suspicion. Amazing political thriller. It's a mad world. Or mad world? Yes. Blue is the warmest color. Oh, jeepers. Now, some of these films in here too, like I do collect a lot of films and stuff that I would consider to be, there's a lot of queer cinema is the best way to put that. And these are good dramas, but many of those are not honest. Blue is the warmest color is very honest about abusive relationships. That's not something people really cover when it comes to those because people don't want to think about that, and it's a shame. But Blue is the warmest color is really good. It's also fairly explicit. Some of these films are not like stuff that you would have normally you wouldn't. It's not stuff that it's not really for the MCU crowd. Anyways, here's Fantastic Mr. Fox by Wes Anderson. Fantastic movie. Anyways, let's go and see what else is in this row. We've got a lot. Anyways, Persona by Ingmar Bergman. I could probably save space if I picked up that Bergman collection they had. But, you know, The Beatles, A Hard Day's Night. This is, of course, the 4K. I like The Beatles. I know people are like, about that sometimes. But, you know what? You cannot deny that they were influential for their time. They're pretty funny people. They're pretty, like, Hard Day's Night is fun. Yellow Submarine is fun. They do make some fun movies. And if you're just like, well, I don't like them because other people like them, get over yourself. Anyway, Scanners. Yay! David Cronenberg. It's the one with the exploding head. Yay! The Umbrellas at Cherbourg. This is a musical. I recommend it. John Cassavetes' Love Streams with Gina Rollins. But yeah, Cassavetes, his stuff is an interesting thing to experience, and this is one of his best films. Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down. It's a film by Pedro Almodovar. I love Almodovar's stuff. He is a agent provocateur in French cinema, and Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down is fantastic. I also liked Volver and other ones like that. Y Mama Tambien. That was an award-winning film. Pretty good. Eraserhead by David Lynch. I like David Lynch's stuff. Good stuff. Don't Look Now with Donald Sutherland, Julie Christie. Donald Sutherland recently passed away, and he will be sorely missed. Don't Look Now is an amazing film. Watership Down. Show it to your vegan friends who think that bunnies are just cute. But yeah, Watership Down. Gates of Heaven, Vernon, Florida. 2 films by Errol Morris. Gates of Heaven is heartbreaking, but if you've ever experienced the loss of a pet or any loss, it's good. Valerie and Her Week of Wonders. A little divisive, but it's fine. The Fisher King. I loved this. Robin Williams, Jeff Bridges. Fantastic performance by Robin Williams. People forget that Robin Williams isn't just a good comedian. He is a fantastic actor. He's an auteur. And if people are like, oh, it's just comedies. No, he's not. He and Adam Sandler are actually like, Robin Williams was one of the best actors in Hollywood. And Adam Sandler is actually a really good actor, depending on like what you give him. We'll get to him again at some point. Day for Night by Francois Truffaut. I actually haven't seen that one yet. Dressed to Kill, another Brian De Palma film. Moonrise Kingdom by Wes Anderson. I actually used this one to to introduce my parents to Wes Anderson, and I'm just like, yes, this is the one you start with because it's one of the more, it's earnest and heartfelt, and then you can get them to watch other stuff too. Because that's the whole point, is to get people into cinema, and so that they can expand their horizons and watch good films. And it's also okay to watch films that aren't the best. But, watch and appreciate films. Learn to watch films. Oh, this is The Brood by David Cronenberg. Yike! It's good film though. Mulholland Drive by David Lynch. Probably one of the best films ever. Maybe it's on my recommendation list. Jellyfish Eyes. Every Criterion person probably owns this. You probably got it on a Criterion sale for like $15, and we're like, what is this? No, it's a yokai film. It's its own thing. The Complete Lady Snowblood. This is Lady Snowblood and Lady Snowblood Love Song of Vengeance. If you liked Kill Bill or Thriller or Cruel Picture or other types of, you should probably watch this. You watch it. This is the type of film that influenced people like, say, Quentin Tarantino, for better or worse. The Immigrants and the New Land, 2 films by Jane Troell. I actually haven't watched this yet. I will at some point. It was $4 at a Goodwill. Yay! The Graduate. I hope they get a 4K of this at some point. I don't think people understand this movie the way they're supposed to. Anyways, The Manchurian Candidate. I know there's a 4K for it. That's just like, I like the extras that are on the Criterion Blu-ray more. And honestly, there's not too much of a difference. Some of those, like when I mentioned The Night of the Hunter, and I mentioned that I have both the 4K and the Criterion for it. It's because there's completely different and great special features. Also, that one has a really good use of HDR. A Brighter Summer Day by Edward Yang. I actually recommend people just yes, this is 236 minutes, so it's like 4 hours pretty much, or so, but it's really good. It reminds me a bit of stuff like Rebels of the Neon God, or I like Sion Sono's Love Exposure. It's another one that's really long, but yeah, great. The Kennedy Films of Robert Drew and Associates. There are 4 films in here. Primary, The Adventures on a New Frontier. Crisis, which is about the Cuban Missile Crisis. And Faces November, which has to do after his assassination. I recommend this one here because I think these are going to be very, very important coming up. Fantastic Planet. And one of the few animated films that Criterion has put out, but quite good. Valley of the Dolls. Movies about drugs. Good though. A little scandalous, but not as scandalous as Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, which was made by, oddly enough, Roger Ebert. Oh, Roger Ebert, what did you do? It's fine. Anyways, Decalogue. Now, this right here, this is a whole bunch of different hour-long TV shows, but then 2 movie versions of those. And they are, there's a lot in here. This is a lot. There's a lot. Like, the entirety of it is like 583 minutes. It's based off of the 10 Commandments, and it's an amazing work of Russian film. I've heard people refer to this as, if you ever want to learn how to make movies, watch the entirety of this, and you will be. It is key 1 for becoming a good director and a good cinematographer. Pan's Labyrinth. I know there's a 4K version of that. I actually don't own the 4K version of that. I did own the 4K version of that. I got the Criterion version after the 4K version. Compared the 2 of them, realized, I don't like all that digital noise reduction and garbage they did to it. This feels more faithful to it. So I'm sticking with that. Akira Kurosawa's Dreams, of course, is a 4K version. Amazing. Punch Drunk Love by Paul Thomas Anderson. This is a Blu-ray version. A 4K version of this would be kind of nice. This is a great movie, and Adam Sandler and Emily Watson are fantastic in this. Fox and His Friends by Rainer Werner Fassbinder. I've got quite a bit of Fassbinder stuff. But yeah, this is a good one. You win the lottery and suddenly have a bunch of new friends. Anywho, Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, another Pedro Almodovar film. Absolutely recommend it. Mildred Pierce, the shadows in this thing. This is, of course, the 4K version because you want the best looking shadows. Being There, another Hal Ashby film. If you're a fan of, how to put that? I think this is politically appropriate for you to watch. You should check it out. Tampopo, a film by Juzo Itami. Another foodie film, but also like, Rumblefish by Francis Ford Coppola. Fantastic. These are great. Ghost World. This is a great comic book movie by Terry Zwigoff, and it's this is great. I wish there was a 4K for it or something. I feel it needs more. People should love Ghost World. They really should. Stalker by Tartovsky. Certain Women by Kelly Reichardt. Really good. Laura Dern is amazing and always will be. The Piano Teacher by Michelle Haneke. Or Michelle Haneke? Michael or Michelle? Haneke. Anyways, okie dokie. I'd love to do like a more in-depth review of that at some point. The Art Life by David Lynch. The Lure. Now, the Lure, these people, I can't pronounce their name, but they also did a movie called Fugue, which is kind of a successor to that, and it's also really good. Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me, David Lynch. Jabberwocky by Terry Gilliam. Election by Alexander Payne, who, oh man, that's a great director. Matthew Broderick and Reese Witherspoon are fantastic in this. The Breakfast Club by John Hughes, because of course you should own that. Anyways, Night of the Living Dead. This is of course a 4K one by George Romero, an instrumental zombie movie. The Virgin Suicides by Sofia Coppola. This is of course the 4K version of that. I would describe this as the most messed up episode of the Wonder Years. But oh my gosh, the soundtrack by Air is amazing. Midnight Cowboy. Most people reference, "Hey, I'm walking here," without realizing that while I think this is R-rated now, when it came out it was rated X because of its themes. It's about it's got Dustin Hoffman, John Voight, and it's about gay prostitution in New York. I know, it's like that whole thing, "Yeah, I'm walking here." People reference that all the time, but it's from this. Yike. But no, it's a really good movie. But it was also the first, quote, X-rated film to get an Oscar nomination. And I think it won, too. So, and it's been reevaluated and given an R rating because sometimes things will get a harsher rating because of content they talk about, which I feel is very unfair. Dragon Inn. Now, I actually watched Goodbye Dragon Inn and loved it, and I had to see what Dragon Inn was like. And oh my gosh, Dragon Inn is fantastic. The Princess Bride, because of course this is the 4K version. I watch this movie at least once or twice every year. Is eminently quotable. Some Like It Hot, a Billy Wilder production. This one's fun. Oh, Orson Welles' The Magnificent Ambersons, one of the best films that's missing so much footage. I Want to Hold Your Hand. This is the first film by Robert Zemeckis. Steven Spielberg presented it. He gave him a chance. This is a thing. It's about fans of the Beatles, and this is a great comedy. I'll probably get into it a little bit later. I'd love to do like an actual review of that. This is Jackie Chan's Police Story and Police Story 2, both fantastic. Oh, Funny Games by Michelle Haneke. Blue Velvet by David Lynch. Fantastic. Swing Time. This is George Stevens. It's Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers. War and Peace by Sergei Bondarchuk. Yes, this is 422 minutes long. It is very long, but you know what? Of course it is. 1984. Make this thing fiction again. Yay. A film by Michael Radford. This is, if you haven't seen this, it is, this is I actually watched this in school, which if you've seen it, you're like, wait, what? You saw this for the first time in school? What type of a social issues teacher? Social issues teacher. Mr. Altis, I know you're looking up at us from wherever you ended up. I'm kidding. You're probably looking down on us and judging us. Maybe? I don't know. You and Mrs. Gall were amazing. Fantastic teachers. My social issues teacher in high school, Mr. Altis, he showed us this movie. I think he tried to fast forward through parts of it, but yeah, we saw that and Brew Becker and Cool Hand Luke. Awesome teacher. Anyways, let's go back over here. Let's see. We got political thingies. Clute. This is a Alan J. Pakula production. Clute, The Parallax View, and All the President's Men are part of a trilogy. The Inland Sea. The Day Trippers. Betty Blue. All About My Mother. Another film by Pedro Almodovar. Almodovar is good. Teorama by Pier Paolo Pasolini, who also did Salo and has some interesting films. There's kind of a weird remake of this called Sitcom that's by Francois Ozon that I also recommend. Bamboozled by Spike Lee. A spectacular film by Mr. Spike Lee. And this is still relevant. The Grand Budapest Hotel. Move that way. Another Wes Anderson film. Fantastic. Me and You and Everyone We Know, a film by Miranda July. Fantastic. The Great Escape. I know there's a 4K of that one, but I'm like, you know what? I'm comfortable with this right now. If I get a really good price, maybe. Wildlife. This is one that, like, I picked this up from it was one of those where Second Charles has stuff for like $5 to $10, and you're like, I don't know, I'll take a chance on that. Or I might have gotten it at the Archive, which is now Vinegar Syndrome, Denver. Anyways, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Now, this is just a Blu-ray. There's no 4K of this. This is fantastic. Come and see. This is not a fun film. The War of the Worlds. I have this on 4K as well. I kept both of them around because different special features and fantastic. Marriage Story. It's a Noah Baumbach picture. This is like the Barbie movie by way of Kramer versus Kramer. Yeah. The Elephant Man by David Lynch. Parasite. Now, I own this on 4K, but then I picked up the Blu-ray collection, the one from Criterion. This has the black and white version of the movie, the entirely black and white version of the movie, on like the second disc, and it's amazing. That's not on the 4K. Also, the 4K has some DNR issues, digital noise reduction, where I'm like, no, I like how this one looks better. I have a really good TV, so, you know, Moonstruck with Cher and Nicolas Cage. Fantastic. The Irishman by Martin Scorsese. Crash, The Good Crash by David Cronenberg. The Parallax View. This feels so inappropriate these days. I wonder why. Anyways, let's put this here. Smooth Talk. Celine and Julie Go Boating. Defending Your Life by Albert Brooks with Meryl Streep, and it is fantastic. Memories of Murder by Bong Joon-ho. I own everything that Bong Joon-ho has put out. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Flowers of Shanghai. Visions of Eight. This is for the Munich 1972 Games, the Olympics. The Signifying Works of Marlon Riggs. Fantastic. If you are a person who wants to know more about queer cinema and also the AIDS epidemic, because there's 7 movies in here, and also really just want to see some good documentaries and films, I would recommend this. Actually, this is good. Mirror by Andrei Tarkovsky. Bringing Up Baby by Howard Hawks. Fantastic. Working Girls by Lizzie Borden. That's actually like It's not a documentary, but it's by way of something like Office Space. You feel for these people. Afterlife by Hirokazu Koreeda. Company by D.A. Pennybaker. If you love music and musicals, this is an amazing documentary. The Damned by Luchino Visconti. The Incredible Shrinking Man. Never have cats and spiders been so scary. Uncut Gems. Never has they talk about like what your first shots or first scenes in your movie are or what your transitions are. I will spoil nothing. This is amazing. Adam Sandler is absolutely amazing in this. The Safdie brothers are fantastic. Citizen Kane. What can I say about this? You either have seen it and love it, or have seen it and are trying to pretend you don't love it. Menace to Society. You've either seen it and love it, or you've seen it and are pretending you don't love it. Anyways, 4K UHD. The Piano by Jane Campion. Jane Campion is fantastic. The Last Waltz by Martin Scorsese. One of the best concert films outside of, I think it's Stop Making Sense with the Talking Heads. Yeah. Chan is Missing. It's a really good film. The Funeral, also a good film. Double Indemnity. Good. Billy Wilder's stuff, Wrote by Stanley Kwan. Good. Shaft. That's what I'm talking about. What did you talk about? Shaft. Anyway, filmed by Gordon Parks, but this also has a sequel on it. It has Shaft's Big Score, which is a 1972 follow-up to it. So yeah, this is 2 movies for the price of 1. This is barely a movie for the price of 1, and is Pink Flamingos by John Waters. The worst piece of tasteless crap. I'm just kidding. I like John Waters. He's one of those people who I would like to hug John Waters. Wonder what he smells like. Anyways, The Worst Person in the World, a film by Joachim Trier. Good stuff. Okja by Bong Joon-ho. The Host is good too, but this is actually my least favorite of his films, but it's still good. Raising Bull by Martin Scorsese, and it's good. Drive My Car, amazing film. Takeout, also a really good film. Sound of Metal, I absolutely love this film, and I keep forgetting to force other people to watch it because it's great. It is a really, I recommend this. Anyways, Lost Highway by David Lynch, really good. Arsenic and Old Lace. I saw this film once in Panama. My uncle had TCM, Turner Classic Movies, on. I watched this, and I was blown away by this movie. It was so these types of screwball comedies, fantastic and morbid and great. Cure, absolutely fantastic. Although, if you've seen Daddy Longlegs, Daddy Longlegs is kind of a remake of Cure in a way. Daisies, pretty good film. The Power of the Dog, pretty good film. Jane Campion. The Infernal Affairs trilogy. Now, if you've seen The Departed is a remake of Infernal Affairs 1 and 2, I think. And this is all 3 of those. Infernal Affairs is amazing. I recommend it. Malcolm X, fantastic. I like Spike Lee and stuff. I mean, if you want to understand the black experience, Spike Lee is your dude. Honestly. But his earlier stuff I feel is better than his later stuff. But that's just me being pretentious. Here we go. Down to this row we have WALL-E, the only Pixar and Disney something with Criterion so far. I hope that the next one they do is Ratatouille. That would be nice. Anyways, 3 films by May Zettering. That would be The Girls, Loving Couples, and Night Games. Michael Haneke's trilogy. This is The Seventh Continent, Benny's Video, and 71 Fragments of a Chronology of Chance. The less I tell you about those, the better they are for you. The Adventures of Baron Munchausen by Terry Gilliam. The Europe trilogy by Lars von Trier. The Romeo and Juliet that they made us watch in school, and they fast forward through part of that because you're like, oh no! Also, I heard some stuff about like the production of this where I'm like, that's unfortunate. But, still a good film. I have collected every version of Romeo and Juliet. I think my favorite is Romeo X Juliet. That's the anime adaptation thing because it's like Fire Emblem. But then also I really like the one with Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Claire Danes? Claire Danes. Inland Empire. This is the best this movie's gonna ever look. Triangle of Sadness. It's a movie about going on a cruise. Thelma and Louise. It's a fun road trip movie. Fantastic. Petite Maman, which, by the way, also has My Life as a Zucchini as an extra, which is an Oscar-nominated stop motion animated film. Which, what's weird is I have that on Blu-ray from, I think, G Kids put it out, and the version of My Life as a Zucchini that's on here does not have the English dub, and I actually recommend the English dub for it. So, Petite Maman is a really good movie, but if you really want to see My Life as a Zucchini, get the G Kids version of that one, because it also has the English dub, which is really good. After Hours, this is a fun film. A Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart. Bo Werderberg's new Swedish cinema. It has Elvira Madigan, The Baby Carriage, Raven's End, and Adeline 31. Todd Browning's Sideshow Rockers, Freaks, the Unknown, and the Mystic. I actually did a, it was crowdfunding specifically for the release and remaster of some of his other films. The Others. The Red Balloon. I owned the Blu-ray, the DVD with just the Red Balloon for the longest time. This one here, it's 5 films. It's fantastic. Like, the Red Balloon is really good. Oh, and Pinocchio by Guillermo del Toro. This is, of course, 4K. Fantastic stop-motion film. Chantal Ackerman's masterpieces, 1968 to 1978. This has Sat ma viel, l'enfant est moi, j'ai joué très, une femme, marée, la chambre, motel Monterey, le 15-8, j'ai tué les, Jean Dillman, 23 Quai de Commerce, 1080 Bruxelles? News from Home, and it's got a bunch. Her stuff is interesting. Train Spotting in 4K, fantastic film. Nothing But a Man, which is a Michael Romer film. Now, Michael Romer, this film and a couple of his other stuff have releases. In fact, it's part of an unofficial trilogy. The other ones in that are Vengeance is Mine and The Plot Against Harry. Both of these were put out by the Film Desk, and they are part of a trilogy with that one. Kind of like how there is, kind of how like there's, they're good. To Die For, that's a Nicole Kidman film by Gus Van Sant. Dogfight, this is a good film. It's a good film. Anatomy of a Fall. Like, what is going on in French courts? But, oh man, this and Decision to Leave are fantastic. Decision to Leave is not a Criterion film, but it's good. Girl Fight. This, I had put off picking this up on Blu-ray for so long, and then they came out with this one. It's another Blu-ray of it, but it's a Criterion Blu-ray of it, so it's got all sorts of nice extras. Bound. I had this on Blu-ray, then I upgraded to the Criterion. The way I look at it, it's like, okay, if I have it on Blu-ray, and there's a Criterion for it, depending on what the extras are, I may or may not upgrade and sell off the old one, which I generally do with older stuff there. It's like I generally do that. Perfect Days by Wim Wenders. Wim Wenders, fantastic. Risky Business. Now, this is by Paul Brickman, and it has both versions of film, the theatrical and then the director's cut. The real difference between the director's cut and the theatrical is slightly a little bit more risky business, and also it's got a different ending, a better ending, really. Not a pretty picture. This is not, it's a good film, but kind of like, oh man, what's not on here is All of Us Are Strangers, and I've been wanting to see that one. But yeah, Not a Pretty Picture is a good film. Mother by Albert Brooks. It's got Albert Brooks and Debbie Reynolds, and it's good. Yes. I had the Blu-ray for Doom Generation, and I didn't have the other ones, but this is a Teen Apocalypse trilogy. Some of those are on 4K, some of them are on Blu-ray for the first time. But all of it, yeah, really well made. This is a 4K for Happiness by Todd Solondz. I will not say much about that movie. Gummo. You know what? I'm glad that we had at one point, there was a president who put out an executive order which made it it made it a federal crime to prepare cats or dogs for eating. That's a federal crime. It is a felony. Then also that same person wants to expand anti-animal cruelty bills specifically. And if you know which person I'm talking about, I don't need to say it. I'd rather you look it up yourself and be like, oh, now a lot of stuff makes sense. Yeah, that whole they're eating the dogs, eating the cats. Yeah, that's because, that person takes that very seriously. Anyways, then we're coming into the contemporaries. We have The Innocent, The Eight Mountains, Tori and Lakita, Godland, No Bears, EO, A Fire, Lynch-Oz, Anselm, which is another Wim Wenders film, All That Breathes, Totem, About Dry Grasses, and I've got stuff over here. At some point, I'd love to go through some of these things. Like, this would be a good, I would probably do like a 2-part review thing where we've got we're all going to the World's Fair, and I saw the TV Globe because I feel that director is somebody people should keep an eye out for. But yeah, there were some things that I didn't list in here that have 4K or Criterion releases coming up. One is The Shape of Water is getting a 4K release this month. I will likely replace this because DNR stuff. There's Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, has a 4K. I got this and it was cheaper than the Criterion when I got it, and I'm kind of torn on whether or not I would rather stick with the Criterion or this one. I don't own the Criterion. It's not a high priority for me. Same with this one where there's The Silence of the Lambs. This is an amazing transfer. Not as many good special features, but I don't really have a reason to justify the Criterion. So I stick with the 4K that Kino Lorber put out. Which, by the way, Kino Lorber, sometimes their stuff is on sale too for 50% off. And then if you see the Criterion version of this next one at your local Barnes and Noble, pick it up and then maybe flip it, because the 4K for this is actually better, but the Criterion version has all sorts of special features and stuff that were not in any of those. And we're talking about, for that would be Rosemary's Baby. Yeah, I have the Criterion has the same, I think has pretty much the same cover as this. It's a fantastic movie. Really good horror film. If you saw the Criterion for it, you pick that up. Although, really, I would recommend just getting the 4K that the other company, which would be Paramount, put out. Yeah, it's cheaper by a lot. But if you find the 4K for it, pick it up, because you can flip that for things. Anyways, let's go into what I would recommend. This is near the end of this. Let's see. If you've bought stuff from Criterion before, then you probably have a list of stuff. But I'm going to go over and I'm going to suggest, you know what? Let's be careful. There's one in July and one in November. These sales are good because half off is good. You get 50% off, and then if you use if you have a Barnes & Noble membership, you get an additional 10% off. So you really can't beat that. Amazon can't beat that. But let's go over what I think you should pick up. Okay, there's so many good movies in here. So many good ones. And I'm gonna start with, let's see. You know what? Let's start with what I think you should pick up in Jane's Contemporaries. All That Breathes. I'm going to recommend you pick up this documentary. If you don't like documentaries, you'll still love this film. If you like documentaries, this film will blow you away. If you love animals and human stories, this will also it's amazing. This is, this is a really good film. I recommend it. So I recommend that you pick up All That Breathes. It's worth, you'd be getting it for $15. That is what? A meal for two at McDonald's or something? Okay, pick up All That Breathes. You will not regret it if you are a fan of documentaries and nature and film. It is amazing. But let's go back up here. Let's start up again here. Okay, so we've got one of there. Oh, what would I recommend you pick up if you're starting up on Criterion and you're not really sure what you're getting into and you want something with good special features, probably not too heady or whatnot. You know what? If you have a 4K player, pick up Godzilla. This is fantastic. I really recommend that. So I'm going to recommend in this video, I might recommend other stuff in other videos. I'm recommend you pick up All That Breathes, Godzilla, and then also to show people that you are indeed one of those people who, there's so many. There's too many. What to do? Okay, so yeah, I'm going to recommend Godzilla because it's good. It's still good. And with all the talks about like nuclear and so, it's still fun. It's a good movie. I recommend it. It built a fantastic franchise. The Criterion 4K scan is amazing. Yeah, definitely that. So I'm gonna recommend Godzilla, All That Breathes. Let's see. Oh, which one? You know what? There's so many here. There's so many. There's so many. I have to pick 3 more. I'm gonna pick 3 more, and I'm just gonna recommend 5 that you should definitely get. Oh, Defending Your Life. I know I recommended this in like that thing I did where I was trying to do like small reviews. I'm gonna do something different than that, and maybe definitely better than that later on. But Defending Your Life, fantastic. Let's see. So I'm gonna recommend, All That Breathes, Defending Your Life, Godzilla. Let's see, out of here, I'm gonna recommend that you pick up, if you're looking for something that even a casual Criterion collector or a casual collector might like, WALL-E. This is better than the Disney release. So yeah, I'm gonna recommend WALL-E. I know a lot of people recommend it, but I'm also gonna recommend it. So yeah, WALL-E, All That Breathes, Godzilla, Defending Your Life. So that's 4. And I think what I'm going to also recommend here is, actually, you know what? I love these samurai films. So Lady Snowblood. This collection right here, definitely pick that up. So there's my 5. What else? If you love horror movies, you need to pick up The Vanishing. If you love horror movies, pick up The Vanishing. This and Cure are your things you need to get. If you love older movies or just want to see something amazing, The Night of the Hunter. It's kind of a Christmassy movie or a Halloween movie or a November. It's a good movie. And then, Babette's Feast. If you can find it, pick it up. Definitely worth it. But yeah, that's just some general thoughts. I've shown off my current Criterion collection of stuff. And ask me about any of these films. I will let you know my opinions of them in the comments below. And I also want to do actual reviews for some of these. Like some of these ones are also part of stuff. For example, Antichrist, Melancholia, and Nymphomaniac are part of a trilogy. The Depression trilogy by Lars von Trier. My Dinner with Andre is amazing. Everyone should see it. If you can find it, pick it up. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. Hit that thumbs up, share button, that subscribe button. Ring that little bell so you're notified whenever we have a brand new video here on Area DMG. And until the next video comes out on Area DMG, or even for Sharp Cinema, you are now caught up.
Morning, Maya.